everyone, welcome back. We made it. It's the last day of the month, but we are giving you your monthly state of wrestling for the month of July. We made it just under the wire. With me once again, we have Campo Reviews, the man who reviews movies, TV shows, wrestling, and any other positive things under the sun. We discussed that he doesn't review dog poo. That's a
dog poo's kind of positive, I guess.
Yeah. We prefer cat poo.
Cat poo.
Yeah. But enough poo talk. We're here to talk about wrestling, our monthly show that we do. Before we get out of the way, sorry, it's been a long day. Make sure whenever these you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. You don't need to hear that, but please do. It helps it out. It helps us make more of these videos for you. We've been really tired watching a lot of G1, which we'll touch on a little bit in the show, but we'll save the rest of it for our G1 recap, which was yesterday. So with that out of the way, let us get right into this. Let's start, as we always start, WWE. What's going on there? They have no storylines.
This is a thing, and it's funny because I actually went and talked to WWE people to give their take, because as we know, I'm not the biggest WWE guy. I enjoy a lot of the events of it. I think, though, it's arguably the most poorly structured TV product that's on the market right now. Like, Impact has better storylines going on as an overall package, especially when you include in-ring product.
Yeah,
like the WWE week-to-week in-ring product is not great.
No,
and so this is basically what I'm gathering.
Even the Bloodline, one of the best storylines that they had, is kind of like fizzled.
I mean, it's still okay. Judgment Day's thing is kind of better right now, but everyone's still waiting for it to happen because there's so many pieces that have to fall into place. It's going to take so long. Well,
especially now, let's talk about the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio is your new North American champion. He beat Wesley.
Dumb move.
Yeah, like
it's not heel heat for me for him to have that title. It's you just making Wesley look bad.
Yeah, absolutely. When you could have had something and build up someone like Baron Corbin returning back to NXT, you could have done a great feud, say, with Wesley and Baron Corbin, and have it span for months. Instead, like, Wesley does all these great defenses, defends against Dragon Lee, defends against Ilya Dragunov, defends against like all these guys, and then he loses to like a guy who's not even on that level.
Yeah, and I don't know, it's a weird situation. It's Roman-esque in the sense that the heat that he has is like hate heat.
It's go away heat. It's not
from wrestling, real wrestling fans. From the WWE community as a whole, they kind of like the stupidity of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I like some fun wrestling, okay? But I prefer the product to be a complete package where Dominic Mysterio still can't wrestle very well. He definitely can't talk. It's a really weird one, right? And I don't agree with it. I think it's a stupid move. It's nepotism. You gave him the belt. He doesn't need a belt. You could have gave all the rest of them belts. He's like the lackey. Why the hell does he need a belt?
Yeah. And like you keep, like, for example, next week is SummerSlam, and this coming Saturday, I believe it is. You could have Finn Balor beat Seth for the championship. So now you have Balor with the championship. You have Damian Priest with the Money in the Bank, and Rhea with the women's championship. I think that would have told a better story with Dominic not having anything and create that jealousy within the group, as opposed to, because like I said, we're still waiting on JD McDonough to come in.
You could have easily, and I know these are like out there. It's not that out there, but it's more like it's a fantasy booking in the sense that you would still have to wait a long time for this to play out. But I think you could have let Damian Priest win the North American title,
which he's already had.
Exactly. So let him win it. Plus, he's someone that you want to continue to decorate. Okay. Then you have him go through the storyline. Then he challenges Finn Balor for the belt, wins the belt. He becomes leader of Judgment Day. They kick Finn Balor out, and then he throws the North American belt at Dominic and goes, "Have it. I don't want this."
Kind of like what they did with the European Championship.
Yeah. Right. And I think that's a callback, and I think people would appreciate that, where it's like giving Dominic this belt is just because he's Dominic and it's Rey Mysterio's son. And like 20 years from now, when you look at his Wikipedia page, you're gonna be like, oh, he won the North American title. No one's gonna remember this.
No.
Like he's not going to go on a memorable run.
No, I don't think he's even defended it yet.
He's going to have a chicken shit run on it, right? He's going to defend it like 4 times in a year, and it's going to be all cheating.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if is he defending it this weekend, like Tuesday. I know NXT is doing their Great American Bash, and does he have?
God, is that on our list?
Of course it is.
Oh my God,
I know.
I didn't even watch Super Happy Gold Rush.
I know. I'm behind on that one. Actually, this looks pretty good. We'll talk about it after though, but when we get to NXT. But yeah, he is defending it in a 3-way match with Wesley and Mustafa Ali. I think Mustafa Ali will be winning this belt at that point.
Give that guy something.
Yeah, he deserves it.
Like, as much shit as he talked, he's one of your better talents, and he's also been a guy for you. Like, he's
told the company over. Yeah, he's told the company line. So
but anyways, back to what I was saying. So I talked to a lot of WWE people because I didn't want to come into this and be like, oh, we're just going to talk about things that I think I'm imagining in my head. So when you really break this down on Raw, which is a 3-hour show, you have the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn storyline, and then you have Judgment Day. And there's no other storylines on a 3-hour show.
Because Brock is not a full-time competitor, so they just
and Cody's just coming out and cutting promos to nobody.
Yeah. And
it's like, okay, yes, they're good, but like, what is the point of this?
And Seth is involved in that, but he's involved in that Judgment Day feud with Finn, really,
kind of,
because they're meeting at SummerSlam, right?
It's a really awkwardly pushed, like forced storyline because we know where it's going, right? The Judgment Day storyline is more important than the Seth and Finn storyline. Then on SmackDown, you have the Bloodline storyline, and you have the 3-way women's storyline, and then nothing else on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Where's Austin Theory?
Yeah. That's true, though. And where's the whole Gunter feud?
Yeah.
They haven't even promoted that. It's Gunter versus Drew, and you're not even promoting it.
The mid-card is a mess in WWE. The tag team division is a mess. Now, your arguably best tag team, okay, is stuck in a singles feud on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you don't have anything with the Street Profits. You have that really Viking Raiders. They're kind of involved with that feud with, what's their name?
I just can't watch them.
Yeah.
I listen, I understand people like them. I know you like them.
I used to when they were in Ring of Honor.
They're not a bad team. It's just they're so, like, I have such a little amount of give a shit for them that when they wrestle, I don't care at all. It's like Gallus, watching Gallus. Yeah. They're not terrible, but it's like when they wrestle, I don't care.
Yeah. I think the Viking Raiders, what happened here is when they were in Ring of Honor, yes, they were kind of gimmicky with that kind of stuff. They were called the War Raiders.
Yeah.
But the in-ring work was more than the gimmick was. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas here, they're just pushing the gimmick.
They remind me of the last 10-year product of NWA, where everybody has a gimmick. There's no like just wrestlers. They all have like some sort of gimmick going on.
It's like when what were they, Warlord and Barbarian? That's what they remind me of.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're good wrestlers, but they were just never given that proper push because they were saddled, hey, this is a gimmick, let's push the gimmick instead of the actual talent that they have.
But that's a WWE thing, right? And then to get, plus when you add the fact that they're not allowed to go 100%.
Yeah. And you have 2 of 3 members of New Day off with like 2 like Big E's still out. There's no word if he's coming back. And now Kofi's out too. He's been out for almost a year.
Listen, they carry like, I guess, a star power, but they're no longer even half of what they used to be.
Yeah.
Like watching them now is just like, they're Tanahashi. They're there to just put someone else over or get undeserved success.
Yeah.
Like, not to take away from their talent, especially from Kofi.
Yeah.
But it's like,
but you're left with the least talented New Day member now.
And it's weird too, because he's not the least talented.
No.
In kayfabe, he's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I mean,
Like
also
he's not actually a bad wrestler.
No, but in the standings, he's the third best guy of the New Day.
Oh, for sure, because of the way that he's written. But that's kind of like speaks to him as a person, right? He's a company man, and good for him. But it's like, can you give him something? He won the King of the Ring 37 years ago, and nobody remembers it.
Yeah.
But it's WWE's in a weird situation. I'm sure SummerSlam's going to be good. They haven't put on any really bad pay-per-views this year.
They've been average to above average.
And don't worry, there's a lot of this. I think maybe it's just the mid-year thing with companies, because this same sentiment that I'm spitting out now is going to come out a lot for every company. So it's
so before we move on with from WWE, we'll quickly run down the SummerSlam card for this Saturday. It's Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Cody goes over.
Why?
I don't know, but Cody goes over. He has to, right?
Cody's
like,
going to win, and it has to end this goddamn stupid story. How are they still feuding?
I don't know. I don't know. Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor. Finn wins? Or do you think this is going to go another match?
I think they try to get Finn to win by cheating, and someone comes out to help Seth, and Seth wins.
Okay. Asuka, 3-way match with Charlotte and Bianca. I thought Asuka would win this match, but when they added Bianca Belair, I'm thinking Charlotte's going to win.
I still think that Bianca Belair needs more time off.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for more Bianca.
Charlotte, but when they added Belair, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to do Asuka didn't lose, so they're going to, it makes it look like she's still strong, and Bianca gets the pin.
But also, Bianca was on such a heavy duty run, you can't keep making her lose, I think. I think Asuka wins.
Okay.
By misting. Or Asuka miss Bianca, and then Charlotte gets the pin on Bianca.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I want to believe that Charlotte is a changed person now, and that's not going to happen.
I don't know, but we'll see. Just because Charlotte is a changed person doesn't necessarily mean creative wants to book her that way. Yeah, but
she holds the kind of power now where she could be like, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Well, we'll see on that one. Roman versus Jey Uso.
It's still Roman still can't lose yet. It's not time.
And this is a weird one. They're actually going to blow off this feud, Ricochet and Logan Paul.
Yeah, and it's a weird blow off too, because the buildup was literally an accidental thing that happened not in kayfabe.
Yeah,
that's been turned into kayfabe.
But at least Ricochet is on the pay-per-view. Give this guy a little bit of shine.
I'm okay with it, because I think this will be a good match. I think Logan Paul can go, and
I think this may be the most entertaining. Maybe not the best match. This might be the best
in-ring product. I actually think, because when I've noticed this, whenever you think that's because Seth Rollins or Finn Balor is gonna be the match of the night, it's always like a really like
lackluster
match.
Yeah,
and then I learned from WWE, it doesn't matter how many amazing women wrestlers are in a match, it always has a chance to be the worst match of the night because of the way that they script the match.
Yeah. Then you have a match that's had no build up almost, which is Gunter and Drew.
That's going to be a really good match.
It will be.
I think
Gunter retains.
Gunter retains, and I think it builds for like another match.
Yeah.
Gunter can't lose until it's time for him to win the title.
Yeah. So, and then you have Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. The blow off is already happening.
Well, this is a career blow off match. Because she's gone after this, I'm pretty
Ronda?
sure.
Yeah. I heard she's heading back to the UFC.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Well, no, because they're the same company now.
Yeah, but apparently that's one thing I heard, that the transition now will be so easy for her. It's not like a whole thing because it's all owned by the same company, so she doesn't need to redo all this
contract
stuff. Yeah, it's just. But
what if this
he hasn't liked being in the WWE for a long time? Apparently,
what I would like to see, though, sorry to cut you off, is Baszler or Ronda beats Baszler. Ronda goes back to UFC. Baszler challenges her in the UFC.
That could be what they're trying to do. Who knows?
But I would like to see that.
But they're like real life, really good friends, and two really good friends wrestling a wrestling match and kicking each other's ass, even if it's like really brutal, is completely different than real life beating the crap out of each other. Like it could,
Yeah.
I think maybe you don't want to do that.
Well, it's like the match. Have you watched Ishii versus Kingston?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that where they're friends, but they still beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, but it's completely different than when you're really punching each other in the
Yeah,
face full power, right? Like that they might not want to do that.
yeah. And then only two participants have been announced so far for the SummerSlam Battle Royal, and it's LA Knight and Sheamus.
LA Knight's gonna win.
Yeah, they
need to
push
let him win
is
something.
yeah, this push has been so delayed with LA Knight. Why don't you put LA Knight against Austin Theory? Have him beat Theory finally. Like Theory's done nothing with the belt since he moved to SmackDown. At least
I want
LA
to
Knight.
go.
I was going to say, at least LA Knight with the United States champion, you can get fresh matches, fresh like feuds, fresh. You know what I mean?
I want to see LA Knight in a program with Drew McIntyre. And
Yeah.
and reference, you don't have to say the name, but reference that they used to be in a stable together somewhere else.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I think they could work well together.
Yeah. It should.
And it'll give both of them something to do
in the meantime, because obviously you're not taking the belt off of Roman anytime soon.
They're not taking the belt off anyone. The only belt that realistically has a chance of moving is the US title, and they're probably not moving that.
Oh, the World Heavyweight Championship may move.
Not yet, I don't think.
And the only other thing that is the Women's Championship, the one Asuka holds.
I don't think that's moving yet either.
Okay, well, it remains to be seen. Find out next week when you watch our SummerSlam review. Next, we'll move into we'll run through NXT because that's this Tuesday. There is a 8-person mixed tag match of Dragon Lee, Nathan Frazier, Yulisa Leon, I don't know who that is, and Valentina Feroz against the Metaphor. No, Metaphor, I get it. Noam Dar, Oro Mensah, Jakara Jackson, and Lash Legend. So it's a two men, 2 women. This is that feud that's been going on for the Heritage Cup, I guess it is.
I don't care.
You have Dom Mysterio defending the North American Championship against Wesley and Mustafa Ali.
I don't care.
Tiffany Stratton is defending the championship against Thea Hall.
I've never cared less ever. How the fuck is that the match? I'm sorry for snapping there. What? Of all the women to be facing her for the title, it's Thea? What the fuck?
Who else do you have right now in the women's division?
Just keep making it Lyra until she wins the belt back. Or until she wins the belt.
Well, Lyra just lost to Rhea.
Yeah, and I was hoping that she was going to join Judgment Day the way they were building up that story.
That would have been cool. Gallus against the family, Tony D'Angelo, your favorite. Hey, New York guy. Gable Stevenson against Baron Corbin. Roxana Perez against Blair Davenport. And this.
You have those two? Why aren't they in the championship match?
Because they're facing each other.
So stupid.
And then you have, this is probably just for this match, you have Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, that's an amazing match.
And I think Dragunov may be winning this match. I think Trick Williams is going to cost Carmelo the belt. And this is where we get the Carmelo Trick separation. And then eventually Carmelo wins the belt back.
I understand.
Because taking the belt off of Carmelo right now doesn't hurt him because he's established now.
Yeah, and he can win it back. And Dragunov needs it. But, okay, so in-ring wise, I won't knock it too hard. They brought in a lot of new people, so I see the little bit of struggles in the ring, but that's okay. Yeah. Everything else about NXT is so god-awful right now that it's on it might be the worst that it's ever been. The writing for it is so bad, it's borderline unwatchable.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big wrestling outlets. I won't name names. You guys can look it up yourselves. That they refuse to watch NXT anymore and do their reviews for it. Yeah. So, but I understand the structure of pay-per-views and what you want to do, especially in WWE. But
this is not a PLE though. This is one of those weekly
Yeah, but they still count it as a big thing. Great American Bash is a big name.
Yeah.
That's why it's called that. They use it purposely.
This is why I'm surprised Braun Breaker is not part of it.
It's the structure of it is too wavy.
Yeah.
There's too much dips here. Like, I get it, you want time for people to like go to the bathroom and shit, but like,
Yeah.
how many matches are there? 7?
7, yeah.
There's 7 matches, and 3 of them are actually like absolute dog poo matches.
Yeah.
So it's not just a wave. It's like, oh,
Watch
we're putting
watch
you out here
watch
for no
Tiffany
reason.
Stratton and Thea Hall be like the best match of the
Yeah, whatever. I can't doubt anything anymore.
But yeah, so we'll move on to with that. We spent way too long on WWE. Let's move to AEW. This is another one. Storylines are getting a little stale again. Like there's really
okay. There's the difference here between this and WWE is there are a lot of storylines happening, which is good. What's
yeah,
bad is 90% of them are in transition to either starting or moving from one to a next one.
yeah,
And it's very awkward. I'm it's made it so, like, I'm not even gonna lie. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I watch Dynamite and I watch Collision, and I think Collision is turning out to be a really good show, but
yeah.
I end up fast forwarding like a lot of it. Like a lot of it.
Like the
Between the banger
talkie,
matches, between
yeah,
your 2 banger matches every night, everything in the middle is straight up garbage.
yeah,
Even
yeah.
though the match product is good, like, okay, I really like Tyra. I really like Taya Valkyrie, but
Valkyrie, yeah,
on Wednesday night's match, she was so bad, and Britt Baker was
yeah.
terrible.
Well,
It
apparently
was
now there's some heat with Britt Baker too.
That was a botch fest,
Yeah, I'm looking it
and
up.
I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't know what to do. It's a really, like, I like AEW, but it's hard. It's getting hard, and Jungle Boy, he plays a good grease ball,
Yeah,
but he can't talk. So how do you have a heel in a situation where he can't talk and the face can't talk?
yeah. And
And
now
Hook's been sidelined.
he beat Hook.
Yeah, and Hook's been sidelined for so long that people, like, he has FTR syndrome where people don't really care about him anymore.
Yeah,
But FTR is starting to get it back. Everyone was cheering for them last time, but then they also booed them last time. So
yeah.
I'm a little bit
They boo
confused.
them whenever they align themselves with Punk, I think.
It's a weird situation because I was talking about that too.
Mm-hmm.
You had Punk come back. You healed him up.
Yeah.
Right out the gate. Then you kind of tried to, like, make him face by making them play or face off against Bullet Club. And then you kind of took it away a bit. People stopped caring. And then now you're putting him against a turned Ricky Starks. So trying to bring him back as a face again. But, like, why don't you just let him be a heel?
Yeah. Hear me out on this. Why, like, you know how that right now there's that feud going on with FTR and BC Gold, right?
Yeah.
What if all along Punk has been working with BC Gold and he turns out to be their leader?
I mean, this is my thing. Okay.
This way, he doesn't have to be in the ring as much. He can be their mouthpiece because he's a good talker.
I like the idea from a like company, what would you call, like, a corporate aspect, but I think Jay White is too big of a name, maybe not in the US, but in the world. Jay White is like equally as popular than some
but
of these
that's
guys.
what I mean. You could build a great feud eventually down the line between Jay White and CM Punk,
but you already have that kind of. I don't, like I said, I think your idea is good. I'm just like trying to find other, like, reasons, but I mean, fine, whatever.
But the way I see it right now, you're trying to have Punk kind of face-ish, but it's not really working out. By putting him with Bullet Club Gold, you can make Jay White an absolute monster of a heel, and that might be able to put CM Punk back into the babyface direction. You know what I mean?
Who did he tag with when he faced Ricky Starks? Darby Allin. And
Darby
who was
Allin,
on Ricky Starks' team?
I can't remember now.
Christian. I think you should find a way to put Luchasaurus, Christian, Ricky Starks, and CM Punk as, like, a heel stable, and have 2 heel stables on Collision, and then have FTR build a face stable where it's like them against both of those other stables.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like there's only one babyface team and they're always getting their ass kicked because of this, and they have to keep overcoming, like it's kind of like WWE did that for a while.
What if they put their differences aside and end up creating this joining Death Triangle, and it's the 5 of them?
I would like that. I would like that. That would be good.
Tony Khan, call me. We'll book for you.
There's a really good storyline happening right now,
Yeah.
and I can see it playing out between. There's going to be a series of trios matches between Death Triangle, BCC, and the
FTR.
No, and
Lucha.
What are they called?
Best friends. Okay.
And they're
because yesterday on Rampage, Big Bill and Brian Cage, who's your Ring of Honor 6-man tag champion, now has a title shot against FTR because they won the.
And which is stupid. They get a shot against FTR, and so does MJF and thing. And it's like, like I don't get it. You're just constantly having tournaments to make people. It's like right now in Ring of Honor, they're already doing another television tournament.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, can't he just have an organic feud with somebody?
No, instead they.
But yeah, they're gonna do a trios thing, and it's gonna go for like at least the next 2 pay-per-views, all in and all out.
Yeah.
And then I think whoever wins that feud, like when it's blown off, is gonna go either to face House of Black and win, or go face the Ring of Honor trio and win.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's probably gonna be BCC that wins.
Yeah. There was so I think that's it for let's go into Ring of Honor then, since it's still kind of the same idea. They're on the right track, like you said. Other than this tournament again for the TV championship, where they're going is on the right track. It's the only thing is there's no feuds out there right now for any of their champions to go into.
They have the NXT issue, which I forgot to talk about on NXT, but this is a perfect segue. It's going to be the same thing when we get to Impact. So could be a segue. Their pay-per-views revolve around only the top guys. So it's like you never get to see anyone else progress or have feuds because it's only the largest names always on every pay-per-view in every match. Even if there's no feud and it doesn't make sense, it's always 2 big names against each other. Like there's very little attempt to put someone new over.
Yeah. It's
right,
true,
like
though.
The Gravity and Commander thing at the beginning. Now I'm realizing it's because they believe that they're going to start pushing those guys on AEW. So they're like, we got to showcase them first here to make sure people know who they are, and then we're going to put them on AEW.
So it's kind of Collision is kind of replaced Dark, I guess, in a way, and Ring of Honor is replacing Elevation.
A Rampage and Ring of Honor, I would say.
Yeah.
Because Collision is actually a really good show. It's better than Dynamite right now.
Because they're putting all their eggs in it. Like they're putting all their
storylines coming out of that. And I don't know if you noticed this. This is a side note. But like the feeling when you're watching it of like it feels like a big show. The design, the way they set up the monitors, Collision feels like a really big show. Dynamite's starting to feel like the same old, like the black ropes. They
need to freshen up the set. The set's been the same since they pretty much started, right? I think they need to.
Yeah, it's too similar to Collision, and it also doesn't feel as big as Collision. So what I want them to do is, remember when they first rebranded and they had their, like, you could see the banners in the background. It's that blue and red, like neon.
Yeah.
Go back to the red, white, and blue ropes and have everything look like that neon color they were doing, because I think that was really catchy.
It's like it really reminds me of like when WWE introduced SmackDown. Raw was just a simple red ropes, black curtains, and the Titantron. Whereas then you had SmackDown, you had this big archway, the fist at the front of the thing. Remember, like
the white and blue, and it was like really bright, and it was like caught your eye.
And then all of a sudden, SmackDown started becoming the better show because they were putting all their ponies in that race, and Raw kind of fell by the wayside. And I think that's where they kind of like fell during the early 2000s, is where it was bad, was because they were betting on SmackDown instead of Raw. And
and you had Kurt Angle was very big at that time, and him and The Rock were both mostly showing up on SmackDown. So
but then you also had the SmackDown 6. You had Edge. You had the Dudleys. You had Batista, you had Ray, you had Eddie Guerrero, you had Brock. They were all on SmackDown. Raw had the New Age Outlaws and Triple H.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the guy. All right. So, like I said, there's nothing planned for Claudio right now. There's nothing planned for Athena right now. There's nothing planned for Samoa Joe except this tournament. And there's nothing planned for
Athena needs to lose to Willow.
I think they're going to do a rematch. I really do, and I think Willow's going to, because in this, if you watch I've watched some clips. I can't watch all the day. That's just too much wrestling for me. But I've seen clips here and there, and Athena is really becoming this cocky type of heel where it's like, nobody can beat me. Find me somebody that can beat me, and I think this is where Willow.
She's on a great run, though. I'll give it to her.
Oh yeah. It's the character's working for her, so. I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just we need something like it wouldn't hurt Athena at this point to lose to Willow to build Athena back up to a rematch. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So let's move to Impact before we end up in Japan. Chris Sabin is back.
Yeah, and now I'm kind of baffled at the situation, but I also really like what they're saying. And it's funny because I sent you a picture, I think, of
the video
of all those guys in the ring, and it doesn't happen 24 hours later. They booked that as a match.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's exactly what I wanted. That's a really good. I like the dynamic of that whole thing.
Yeah, and it was it. So now they're doing Josh. It's Josh, Shelley, Kushida, and Sabin against is it Bully Ray, Moose, Brian Myers, and some other jabroni.
Forgetting. Oh, Leo Rush,
yeah. Which works because now you have like the two top contenders in one feud, in one team. Like you have probably Josh Alexander as your next feud for Alex Shelley, so they're on the team. It tells the story of can they work together. You have former champion and a new and the current champion, like the X Division champion Chris Sabin may feel a little jealousy, so you can build a feud out of that. You have jealousy between partners. You have
this is you're so right, but let it drag.
Let it freaking tell the story, because then you have another story you can tell between Leo Rush and Chris Sabin on wanting to get the championship back. You have like
so much. Build it.
Keep Moose and Brian out. They're just there to take pins and pinfalls.
They're at a lack of factions. They don't even have any factions right now. For me, this is what I would do. I would take that team, Josh Alexander, Kushida, and Motor City Machine Guns, throw Kevin Knight in there, make them a faction. Then keep those 4 guys you have on the other side and add in one of those guys that you love, that's an old guy that has nothing to do, that you love to put on every pay-per-view. Put Sammy Callahan or put Eddie Edwards as part of that team.
Yeah.
And then give them that star power and let them run with that. And then you can have the good hands still be their lackeys. So it's like 7-on-5. So they can always kind of have a little advantage. And I think that's a proper way to go, because you can drag that out for so long. Then you can have
that's a year's worth of storylines.
You can have double turns, right? Because you can have Eddie Edwards get tired that Bully Ray's in charge of this group and he wants to turn on him, and then you can have the thing like you said on the other side where there's like turmoil between everybody. But like it's kind of like I don't know, but
it could work. It could work.
Trinity needs to lose the title.
Yes, Trinity needs to lose the title. That match, she teamed up with what's her name from those British guys there. What are they called again?
Oh, Subculture.
Subculture. She teamed up with the girl from Subculture, and they beat the Coven. So the Coven has taken, they've taken another loss. The Coven since losing the belts.
It's gonna split. They're gonna make that a one-time pay-per-view thing where they're gonna face each other, and then that's it. And then I think Taylor Wilde's going to be off TV for a long time.
And push Kylan King.
She's up there in age now.
Yeah. And just push Kylan King. Yeah. Taylor Wilde's kind of in that Trish Stratus type of...
Yeah. She's there to put someone over, right?
Yeah.
Which is why I thought the Mickie James thing was very weird.
Yeah.
Like you were bringing all kinds of people to face her and letting her keep winning, but like she wasn't doing anything for anyone else.
No. She was just putting herself over by winning all the time. Eric Young beats Nick Aldis. That was surprising.
That's very surprising, but I heard that Nick Aldis is done in Impact.
That's it. It was just a one and done thing.
His contract expired after the match at the pay-per-view.
Really?
So right now he's just doing a match-to-match situation. That's why they didn't let him win the title.
Oh, interesting. So where could all this go?
There's two big rumors. Japan is really hard after him. I don't remember which company it was. It was either Noah or New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And WWE really wants him, but the problem is what the rumor that came from like a good source is that Triple H offered him a deal as a producer and a trainer. He won't be in ring wrestling.
Oh, okay.
But they're treating him like he's so old. He's like 38.
Yeah. But
Like,
well, speaking of signings, Roosh re-signed.
Roosh resigned. That's excellent.
And
what was the other big one we were talking about?
Pillman.
Oh yeah,
Pillman
signed in
an
WWE.
NXT tryout. Yeah,
that's great. Good for him. He's a good WWE
you know what?
guy.
Oh, I just thought about it. You got a tag team right there, Braun Breaker and Brian Pillman Jr.
Probably what it's going to be. Don't be surprised.
But I'll take it. Like, you know, you have a Steiner and one of the Horsemen together.
That division is weak right now since they lost Pretty Deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what you could also do? I mean, you don't really want to separate them, but technically in Impact, they're not really a team. But I would put Kushida and Josh Alexander together and let them win the tag titles and let them go on a huge run. That way you don't have to convolute the main title picture.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take away from that little faction they're building.
Yeah. And more belts in a faction is always a good thing.
Right? He doesn't have to face Shelly.
Yeah. So with that, we'll move on. We're going to talk a little bit on New Japan and Japan for a little bit. This won't be very long because we have our New Japan G1 review. We'll just touch on it a little bit. Too many people. There's too many people.
I told you adding the extra 4 people was overkill because those extra 4 people are not to be disrespectful, but they're not very good wrestlers. Like, I don't need Yano to be in it. I don't need a lot of those guys to be in it. It's like
Alex Coughlin doesn't need to be in it.
And then it's not even that they're bad. It's just like why they don't work in this situation. It feels odd.
But there's a few guys like you put Hikuleo. I don't think needed to be in this. There's a few guys. Ishii probably didn't need to be in this. The only reason why Ishii's there is because he's in the same group as Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston probably wanted him in that. Tanahashi, Shane Haste, like.
We'll talk about that in the G1. But
well, yeah, I mean, go watch yesterday's to hear our thoughts about that because Shane Haste had a match against Tetsuya Naito, but
there's generally just like it started off a little better than I thought it did. Like now that I've went back and watched some things and like thought about it, but in the last like 5 nights, it's been like 3 really good matches and 7 wastes of my time.
Yeah.
Like every Yano match is a 12-minute waste of my time.
Yes.
Because it's not even that it's not funny. It's that I know he's not going to win. So why am I watching this match? There's 0% chance that he's winning this match.
And the thing is, he's not even technically Toru Yano's officially eliminated, right?
Yeah, he's 0-4, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 0-4. And
Hikuleo's 1-4, I think.
But he's not eliminated.
No, because he has
3 matches left.
That whole group is like played out for a tie. They're all played out for like
because
a tie.
Even Narita can work it out. With 3 matches left, Narita
they all can. That's when we talked about that though. Yeah. That's like the plan for that group, clearly.
Great Khan doesn't have a chance anymore because your top 2 guys are now at 8 points. So Khan, even if he wins, he's tied for 8th.
I have a intercompany question here.
But she only has 2 matches left. Go on. Yes.
The rumor is, and it was leaked by a New Japan company person, like one of their writers or something, that they were told since they were writing Forbidden Door that at All In, it's going to be Chris Jericho versus Will Ospreay.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Kenny Omega.
No. So this whole time they've been planning in New Japan to have Ospreay versus Chris Jericho, which kind of makes sense because if you're AEW, number one, and if you're Kenny, who's still in your prime, you're not trying to lose back-to-back matches.
That's true.
And Chris Jericho is one of those stepping stones like a Tanahashi but the other side,
Yeah.
you beating him cements something of your career, right?
Yeah. That's true. And Chris Jericho's not afraid to lose to put people over.
Yeah. And I think that would still be a really good match.
Yeah, it absolutely would be.
But I didn't really think about it until I heard that. I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense. You're not going to have Kenny lose again.
Yeah. And it
And you're
keeps,
also not going to let Kenny win again because you're not going to give him back that title.
yeah. Save it for Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
Save it for Wrestle Kingdom.
They say that for when Naito faces Sonata for the
Right.
title.
All right.
Even though he's not.
Even though he's not, right?
He's not even going to make it out of the block. Anyways,
you don't think Naito's going to make it out of the block?
I don't know. I don't like when they do this. Okay. Like I said, it always comes down to the last 3 matches.
Yeah.
Everyone's last 3 matches is the decider of what's going to happen.
I mean, Naito's still in an okay position. He's only a couple points off.
He has to win every match for the rest of the thing.
He has to, as long as he beats Sabre Jr., because he has that win over Goto.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well,
unless he loses to Alex Coughlin.
Stardom has been great. I wish I could watch it more. I don't have enough perspective on it to talk about it. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. And their 5-star tournament thing has been fun. I've been watching the highlights of it.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
Basically what I've been doing. Yeah. I'm gonna try to watch stuff. It's getting really hard. There's too much. CMLL is doing some really cool things. I wish I had some time to watch. And Noah, like, I'm waiting for the next Noah event because I really want to see what's going to happen. But the thing is, in this in between time, they haven't been talking and doing anything.
Well, no, they're starting. So basically, as soon as the G1 ends, they start their N1.
Yeah, which I'm very excited for that.
But we won't, just so you guys are aware, we won't be reviewing the N1 the way we review the G1. The G1 still is.
Yeah, the G1 is king of all wrestling.
Tournaments.
Japan, king of wrestling, king of sports.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, with that, guys, make sure you go back to yesterday's video where we have our week 2 G1 review up until night 9. Stay tuned for that, or go back and watch that. We have all our updated standings. Everything is updated for that. So make sure you go back and watch that. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, throw that thumbs up. Make sure you turn on that bell notification, follow the Discord. This way, when videos like this come out, you're always there, and always appreciate the support you guys throw. So with that out of the way, in the words of Kenny Omega, goodbye and good night.